Well, meantime, President Biden continues to be dogged by low approval ratings over his handling of the economy despite the strong health of the country's finances. Some experts believe a so-called vibecession could be because Americans are still smarting from high interest rates.
Friday's personal consumption expenditures price index, it's a key barometer for inflation, will indicate whether the U.S. central bank is ready to cut interest rates for the first time since the pandemic. Kate Fisher reports from Washington.
The U.S. economy is growing, expanding by 3% last year with low unemployment and fears of a recession fading. Such a robust financial environment would historically help to carry an incumbent U.S. president to a second term in office. But when it comes to Joe Biden, voters don't seem to be buying it. A new poll for The Guardian newspaper shows that nearly 3 in 5 Americans wrongly believe that the U.S. is in a recession and that the economy is shrinking.
It's just everybody's feeling it. You know, I have 2 kids and it's hard.
Well, prices are higher than they were a few years ago. And in my mind, what's more important is whether wages are rising to meet that.
Now, I'm a lifelong Democrat. So, you know, and now it's just like who's going to do right by the people. You know, that's where I'm at right now.
So could you change your vote then, you think, this year?
It's a possibility. I mean, anything's possible. You know, it's a possibility because now it's like, we need help. People, we need help, man. The working class needs help.
Economists have given a name to this disconnect where confidence in the economy is at stark odds with the actual data.
Vibecession is the idea that the economy can be doing quite well, but the vibes, the feelings of the people are not where we think they should be.
Harvard economist Judd Kramer co-wrote a paper in February analyzing why this could be happening.
The measures that we traditionally use to describe whether we're in a recession or an expansion, those are all in great shape. Unemployment is low, inflation is declining, GDP growth has been doing well. We would have expected that given those things, consumer sentiment would also be rising, but we haven't seen that to be the case at all.
That could be partly down to the effect of elevated interest rates, which have raised mortgage and credit card repayments, but which aren't included in measures of inflation. The Federal Reserve started hiking rates in March 2022 and has raised them 11 times since. They're currently at their highest level in 20 years, at 5.25 to 5.5%.
They think that that is a higher price in the economy, and they experience that as more inflation. But actually, the way that we measure inflation officially excludes mortgage payments and interest costs. So one reason that we think that consumers might be more down than other economists would have predicted is because of the exclusion of those interest rates that consumers are really feeling the pinch for.
Last week, we saw the biggest jump in 30 years.
And with the presidential elections just 5 months away, Democratic lawmakers who are out stumping for Joe Biden say the perception gap is proving a challenge on the campaign trail.
You know, I think you can't tell folks how they feel because they feel the way they feel. I think you can say we've still got work to do. You know, there's certainly a hangover from the pandemic. I think, you know, we're still trying to shake some of that off. You know, a lot of folks are doing better. When you ask them about their personal life, they're doing better. But when you ask them, how's the country doing, they still see a lot of turmoil.
Joe Biden's wasteful.
That's partly down to the bleak picture painted by the Republican candidate for president.
Not one thing is cheaper under Crooked Joe's: food, gasoline, cars, trucks, rent, and mortgages. They're all through the roof. The whole country's going to hell because of this guy. I will end this nightmare, and we will once again have the greatest economy in history, the history of the world. Thank you.
The strongest economy in the world. I passed the law.
Democrats are arguing that it is already pretty great, pointing to job creation, student debt relief, and reduced prescription drug prices.
But with the central bank not expected to lower interest rates much, if at all, by the time of November's election, and while families are still feeling the pinch, the Biden campaign may struggle to convince Americans that the president's handling of the economy is worth their vote. Kate Fisher, CNA, Washington.